Open-mouthed, its greenish-yellow teeth were perpetually exposed in a repugnant rictus. Raising its arms in a why me gesture, the demon brandished former fingers that had been fused into claws. Sorry, it said. What the fuck had happened to this guy? Had he been burnt in the accident? How was this possible? Could I be dead? Fear vaporizing anger, I backed away, stumbling over the decapitated, maggot-infested deer carcass that had blocked the goblin's passenger door. The world swam away from me. I sat down beside the deer and threw up. Cherries spinning, a cop car screeched to a stop beside us and cut its siren. A black female officer emerged, approached the scene, hand on holstered .38. She sized up the situation with the rookie's nervous deportment and radioed for fire and ambulance services. I forget her last name, but still remember her first. Gloria. Sorry, repeated the demon trucker. He started toward us and Gloria instructed him to stop. She was almost as freaked out as me. I was spooked all over again by her concern. She assisted me up out of the puddle of leaked gasoline I'd been sitting in. Help is on the way, she said, moving us over to a sidewalk, aiding me to lie down. She returned to her prowl car, retrieved a fire extinguisher, gingerly negotiated a path through animal remains to the cartage truck, opened the hood, and emptied the whooshing extinguisher at the fuming interior. Impressions while I drifted in and out of consciousness. The demons garbled nonstop apologies and protests. Officer Gloria made the creature about face, snapped shiny cuffs on him, locked him in the back of her cruiser. 2 ambulances and a truck ladder appeared out of nowhere. Paramedics shined a pinlight in my eyes, secured a collar around my neck, made me demonstrate I could wiggle my feet and raise my arms. People yelled at me to stay awake. Me on stretcher, stretcher on gurney, gurney in ambulance, ambulance in hospital garage, me in hospital. Oh yeah, hospitals smell funny too. I spent the night of the accident in Grant Hospital with a mild concussion, cuts. One on my forehead required 28 stitches. Bruises, abrasions, but miraculously, no broken bones. I took the first of many hot, lengthy showers to expunge the stink from my pores. Long after it was physically gone, the smell persisted. The hospital had placed my bloody clothes, which reeked of roadkill and motor fuel, in a plastic bag. I thought about making the bag's contents into a decorative cloth sculpture, but wound up dumping them in the trash. In those days, I was more emotionally invested in forgetting than remembering. Everyone who saw photos of the Green Goblin was amazed I was still sucking air. My grandmother held the Polaroids and burst into tears. The Volkswagen's entire driver's side, from hood to back door, was accordioned. An insurance investigator later proposed that had I buckled up for safety, I would have been pancaked. Evidently not wearing a seatbelt saved my life. That autumn, I obeyed the Columbus City prosecutor's summons to appear at Franklin County Courthouse to testify against the demon truck driver whose earthbound name turned out to be Lamar Hardwick. Lamar Hardwick was cousin to the owner of Columbus Cartage and Transfer, which had the contract to scrape up dead animals from Franklin County's highways and byways. Evidently, on that particular Saturday, Lamar and his relation went out on a roaring bender. And when the cousin passed out, Lamar, great good deed doer that he was, decided to surprise his boss and drop off a week's worth of roadkill to the city incinerator. More importantly, to Lamar, he'd make a run for beer. Naturally, the thought of going to jail, if caught a 5th time for driving under the influence, didn't faze Lamar. Neither did operating a Class 1 vehicle with a revoked license. Before the trial, a short, portly public defender with greasy black hair tried to elicit compassion from me toward Hardwick. My eyes kept darting to the dandruff flakes that clung to the part in the defender's pale scalp as he explained how unfortunate Lamar had been injured in an industrial accident involving hydrochloric acid and fire 16 years ago. Since that tragedy, Lamar had been in and out of hospitals and mental wards. Lamar was unable to reintegrate into society or to hold down a job. Lamar, blind in one eye, was on disability. Severely depressed, Lamar had even tried to kill himself. The city-appointed lawyer compassionately conjured up his client's name as many times as possible in the attempt to humanize him. At last, the attorney pointed out Lamar Hardwick, yanked from a holding cell, temporarily attired in a cheap, disheveled suit, head bowed, sitting alone on a bench in the hallway outside the courtroom, and asked me not to testify. I realized Lamar Hardwick was not inherently evil. He was no demon. He was simply a guy with really bad luck and a catastrophic weakness for alcohol, which made him dangerous as hell. Before I replied to the public defender, Officer Gloria arrived. She didn't recognize me without all the blood. My testimony put Lamar Hardwick away for 2.5 years. January in Columbus, 5 years later. I'd quit Roach Studios and embarked on a career as a freelance illustrator. I was up late Sunday night trying to meet a Monday morning deadline. The radio was tuned to WOSU-FM, the Ohio State University classical station, which had news on the hour, and the 10 o'clock report iced my spine. A collision resulted in 2 fatalities early this evening at Cook Road and Interstate 71. Lamar Hardwick, 56, of Columbus, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of manslaughter after entering the Cook Road exit ramp in a truck and colliding head-on with a car driven by Thomas Zustiak. Zustiak, 24, and his wife Carol, 21, newlyweds married 3 months ago, were pronounced dead at the scene. Hardwick, who was driving without a license and allegedly intoxicated, was unharmed. That funny smell came back. It still comes back.